Hello, Lizzie here. So today I'm going to show you how to make the one-piece purse but using poppers. So if you've seen this before, I'll just repeat about the folding. So the measurements are all down below in description, so don't worry about that. Everything is listed. So here's your one piece of fabric. It's been stabilised on the back, so a nice medium to firm interfacing on the back. So it's got a bit of stiffness to it. So you need to mark 3.5, 3.5, 3.25, 3.25 inches. So 3.5 inches, 3.5, 3.25, 3.25, and you fold like a concertina on those lines. So you're folding over and over again. So your inside pockets, when you look at it, there's one smaller than the other. That's meant to be. Now with a popper, you don't have to do anything until the whole thing is stitched together. So now we've folded that over, and I'll just do that again so you can see you've got two mountain folds there. You're just going to concertina that over, give it a nice press, it always helps. And then with this raw edge at the top here, you're bringing it down to cover the raw edge at the bottom, so it's literally meeting each other. If I hold that up, you'll be able to see it just meets each other just there. Now just to make sure everything is kind of stable and in its place, I'm just going to put a clip there just to hold the two layers together. Now like I say, you might need to use a walking foot, it always helps. So now we're going to stitch, and it's only two seams. You're going to stitch along here, so from the raw edges, if you like, up to the top folded edge, across there and across there. That's all you're doing. So needle down, now about 1/4 inch seam allowance, and all the way up to the top. Nice back stitch to finish. Keep your stitch length on about 2.5, that will be fine. Just line those up. Nice back stitch. Right up to the top. Back stitch. There we go. And then what you can do is trim your corners. Take some of that bulk away. Just here as well. And what you can do, I'll pick those up later. What you can do is use your pinking shears and just pink up those edges as well. It's up to you. Now when you go to look at this, you'll wonder how on earth you're going to turn it through. But if I show you here, there's one part where if I open it up, you can see both right sides of the fabric, and that's where you put your hand. You can't put your hand through these other parts, they just won't go anywhere because it's part of the pockets. So if you're seeing both right sides of the fabric, pop your hand in there and just turn it through. So get hold of your corners and turn it through. And then again, you need to just get those corners out. Now I use the blunt end of my scissors. You might want to use a proper pokey tool or indeed a chopstick. And you need to give this a nice press, not just yet, nearly. So there we are, so we're not quite finished. When you look at it, your pockets are actually inside. You can tell that because the smaller one is sitting inside, and that's not right. Plus you've got raw edges here. So you need to pop your hand back into these pockets here and turn those pockets back onto this other side. And again, get all those layers laying flat. Again, get your pokey tool in there, get your corners out. Again, I might just use my scissors again. I have got the most amazing pokey tool, or turning tool, especially for this. I can never find it when I need it. I think we're all the same, aren't we? So just make sure all your layers are flat. And then this could do with a really good press, but I'll bypass that for the moment. So this is what this will look like now. So you've got your pocket sitting nicely in the front, you've got a smaller one here, and then you've got the stepped up for the back one there. So now we need to put our popper in. So this is so easy, folks. So I'm going to get the middle, so I'm folding my flap over in half. Just get my pen ready. I'm using heat erasable. I'm going to make a crease, which is there, right in the centre. I'm just going to make sure that when I fold that back. I'm happy with where that is. I'm happy with that. So I folded that back so I can see my little black mark here, and I'm just going to put a little mark on the front of my pocket. So if we look at it here, you'll be able to see there's my little black mark there. Hopefully you can see that right in the middle of that flower, and there's the other one there, just in that flower there. So all I'm going to do now is make a hole. Now I use this hole punch. You might want to use a bradawl. I use a rubber mat just to protect my work and my table, and I'm going to punch all the way through. And then I'm going to get my tool in. So this time, when it's, because we want the button, the nice flat button, to be on the outside of the pocket, just put that through from the outside and pop it through, and the little spike will come through, and then you can put your stud or your socket. I tend to put the stud, the male part, on the top part, and then take your tool, and then there's a little silver dish here, and your button that's on the front will sit inside that silver dish. It's so easy to do these snap fasteners. I always use a double squeeze, so in other words 2 hands. You don't need to. Depends how strong you are, I suppose, but you don't need a lot of strength. And there's 1/2 done. So with the other little dot we've got there, I'm going to use my rubber mat. If you haven't got a rubber mat, don't worry, you can use a nice thick piece of cardboard. That'll do the trick, because the hole I'm going to make, I don't want it to go through to the other pocket. So a nice hole through there. Let's pop all that to one side now. We don't need any of those. So the button this time, the nice flat button, goes on the inside of that first pocket. Just find your hole and poke it through, and you'll have a little spike come through. And then with that spike, you're going to put the socket over the top. Just hold it in place and then slip it onto the dish of the tool. It's so easy. There we go. And if you're not sure, just give it a wriggle and then squeeze, and there we are. So there's our popper installed, top and bottom there. So if I show you there, you'll be able to see them nicely installed, and all you have to do now is pop that together, and there we are. There's our 1-piece purse, 2 seams, with a popper this time. Oh, I hope you make loads. Bye.